This is a very important video, and I'm not going to use any kind of high retention editing or script in this video because it is very, very important. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because we started an initiative where we basically interview a lot of people who have registered to our courses, and then we basically collect testimonials for advertising and other purposes as well. Now, after having few calls with some people, I realized that there are some very fundamental things which you need to know in order to succeed in digital marketing, whether you have started learning, working in digital marketing, upskilling, whatever. And I assumed that everyone kind of knows them. And to my surprise, I just realized that almost no one knows those things. So I thought it's my responsibility that I should talk about those things which are very, very important. And that's what this video is about. Now, if you are following us from any channel, whether it's YouTube or you have taken any of our courses, you most probably want to be a digital marketer. Whether want to sell your services as freelancer or want to get a job initially in an agency or a brand side, or you want to use digital marketing for your own business. That those are the only possibilities. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is Meta ads, Google ads, how these platforms work. That is not what will basically decide how successful you will be in this field. Because think of it as you want to be an accountant and one of the tools you use is calculator. And if you only obsess about calculator, you are not going to be a very good accountant, because you have to know these platforms. They are like base of every online advertising professional. They are the most important things you need to know. But over obsessing about them, for an example, if you are an accountant, you want to know how does the calculator actually work? How does it basically come up with 4 when we say 2 plus 2? As far as you know that it can do addition, subtraction, these are the buttons we can use. There is a memory function, we could memory, there's a check, we could check last 6 inputs we gave it in the calculator. Okay, it operates on a battery, there's a solar power as well. As far as you know these things, they're more than enough for you. There are millions of people in the world who understand what Meta Ads does, how to do campaigns, and all those things. What will basically decide if you become successful in this field is your idea of marketing, your skills of marketing. At the end of the day, when you run advertising campaigns, online advertising campaigns, what you're trying to basically do is sell a product or a service. Most probably that's what you're going to do. And selling is not easy. It's one of the most difficult things to do in the world. And if you think that you technically will know Meta ads and Google ads and you will make people buy, that's not going to happen. These tools are a vehicle. As far as you have the grand strategy, they can help you achieve that. Now, this is one of an important parts in the marketing strategy, how you will sell a product or a service using these tools. But you need to understand what you are selling, how you should package it, what you should say, how should you basically ask the user to click and go check the product out or the service you provide, or get in touch via WhatsApp or whatever. So there are things which you need to understand. You need to understand who are the people. There are more than 4 billion people connected to the internet every day. You need to understand who are the people I need to connect and how do I connect to them. And if I'm able to do that, what is an interesting message for them? What will make them to act, click on your ad, or form a particular perception about the brand you are advertising about, and all those things. So this is very, very important. And there is something that comes out of this, which is consumer psychology. I wouldn't say human psychology because that's too vast, but consumer psychology. Why do people consume? Because you have to understand, one mistake that a lot of people do is they are like, this ad is not interesting for me, so probably it will not work. And learning consumer psychology, that's the first myth you bust, that everyone doesn't think like me. Maybe I'm a minimalist. Maybe I only buy when I need something. There are people who have shitload of money and they just need a reason to buy. And maybe you are working for a product, people just buy it because it's intended for rich people, and they don't need a reason to, they don't need a need to buy, they just need a reason to buy. And you have to understand how to give them basically that reason. So marketing, the most difficult part of marketing is this: letting go of your myth that if you like a line, everyone is going to like that ad copy. If you like a creative, everyone is going to find that creative engaging. That's not true. You need to understand for every business what kind of people they're targeting, who are they, what they might like, what they might not like. And then with the assumptions and the research and then experience adds on, and some it gets easier day by day. That's the first thing I want you to understand. Now, what do you have to do about it? I don't know. Study, learn, be obsessed, and experiment and do these kind of things. Read books. I don't know. Hear podcasts, but I told you what are the topics that you need. The second thing I want you to know is not everyone who gets a job, who becomes a freelancer in digital marketing, has a fancy life. Now, I'm very grateful, and I have said this before, digital marketing is, I even made a video about it. This field is great. If you become top 10%, maybe 15%, top 15% digital marketer, you will enjoy doing this. You will basically live a very good life. Now, for me personally, digital marketing has given me a lot of stuff. What I mean by that is I used to like travel, not anymore. Like I'm not obsessed about it anymore, but I have been to more than 24 countries, and majority of it was because of my work, because of the projects, and I lived there in those more than 12 countries. That was what I was passionate about: traveling, living in different places. It gave me that. It gave me money. I have, alhamdulillah, I have more money than I need. I make more money than I need. It's 3. My work day just started, so it gave me freedom. I went for a workout. I cooked for myself today, and now it's 3, and I'm going to a cafe of my choice where I will have a coffee and then I will work. Doesn't matter till 12, doesn't matter, but I have this freedom. So these are basically 3 main things which everybody desires for. So it gave me that. And there are people who got a lot more than me in this field. They are very good. They are better digital marketers, performance marketers, or whatever. They have some kind of skill which I don't have. They can sell themselves more than I do, or I don't know, they have better understanding of marketing, consumer psychology. But there are a lot of people who are below me in the skill set. And where do they stand if you rank digital marketers all over the world? I'm above average. A majority still work in digital marketing, and it's just like any other job, like a regular job. They don't reap these benefits. And why is that? That is because they never understood the point number 1, which I told you. They didn't know what their vision should be. What is the end game? They just thought we're going for a job, now we'll get a hike and blah, 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 blah. Either that was the reason, they didn't know the vision. And the vision is, unless you have that clear set goal, you will never be able to among the top 20-30% of the digital marketers. The goal is you have to be a person who can help companies to sell their product and service. You have to be a full stack marketer where you understand how to basically from start to end, from conceptualizing the strategy, the creative, until end. How do I report? How do I know whether the strategy is working or not? You need to be aware about all this. Of course, you don't have to do everything. There will be people who will help you. But that is the end game. You have to be at that stage. You're not special. You're not even above average if you can tell a company how to run their ad campaign on Meta. That's not what companies value. They value, this is what we are, this is where we are going to be. Can you help us with marketing to be there? That's what companies value, and that's what will make you special. The second reason, some people know this in their hindsight, but they still are not able to get there. Why? Because all this freedom, money, and traveling and whatever is all fine. But there is a lot of hard work you have to put there. You are competing with millions and hundreds of thousands of marketers. Now, to compete with all of them and to be among the top 15, 10%, it's not easy. You need some kind of edge. The edge for some people is they are very hardworking, they're obsessed about digital marketing. Personally, me, I am obsessed about digital marketing. There are countless times, millions, thousands of times when I started on a YouTube video of a competitor or a landing page of a competitor, then I researched about them, how are they, what is their offer, what kind of traffic do they get, how are they advertising, and I was supposed to do something else, but I obsessed so much. Even the competitors who basically are not as good as us in terms of marketing, and I know it for a fact, and still I try to learn, not because I want to know everything. It's because I'm so obsessed about the idea of marketing, to learning about this and to upskill myself in this field. To be honest with you, marketing and the YouTube content and the courses and all that, it's very high effort. I put a lot of efforts, and I have opportunities where I can make much more money than lesser efforts. Join my family business or whatever. I do this because I'm so passionate about it. So you need to be obsessed. You need to know that there is a lot of hard work you need to put in through. There will be times when you'll be like, why do I think about this? It's so hectic to think about coming up with 5 ideas for them, how to sell their bags or jackets or raincoats or whatever. Let me ask ChatGPT. But that is the exact point which will determine what you will do in the marketing. Maybe for some of you, what I talked about is too generic, or what I talked about, you are not able to relate, and I completely understand that. But from the previous interviews, testimonial interviews I am having with guys, I realize that most people don't even know this. And they have this fire in them to be successful in this field. And I thought, if it's going to help 10 people, it's all worth it. So that's why I created this video. I have reached to the coffee shop, and I will see you in the next one.